cultures is hard. I mean, I'm even in shock coming back to Microsoft. You know, when I left Microsoft, it was a company that was extraordinarily good in a couple of markets of putting software in a box. I came back to a company that's extraordinarily good at pouring concrete and running air conditioning. You know, like we deploy data centers on with a global footprint.
Mhm.
I have met and had the pleasure of working with the PhD. She and her team are our energy buying team. I had no idea we had one of those kind of thing, but, you know, they're working with, within LF Energy, you know, trying to figure out what can be done in that space, and, you know, it's yeah, we have an energy buying team in Azure. And as soon as you say that out loud, it's like, "Well, of course we do."
Exactly.
And when you see your first data center that's kind of global footprint, and I have to assume all of the hyperscalers in all of the countries have these same challenges. It's, you know, you're naive. You walk into it thinking of, yeah, yeah, I remember the data centers back in the 80s and 90s, you know, there was, but here it's like you have racks and racks and racks of different generations of hardware. And it's like you don't just throw out the old generation and retool the entire data centers. No, the infrastructure software is running across a physical hardware engineering problem that is the scale of some of this stuff is fascinating. And it's figuring out where how do you run that hardware business underneath the software business, underneath the infrastructure management business. It's the complexity of the modern computing world is very different.
Yeah, and it is a reinvent for Microsoft, right? Like you said, I mean,
Yep.
they were very good at putting software in a box.
Yeah, it's and even when you see the difference in the way the three hyperscalers present themselves. I mean, Amazon, you know, we all tease them, you know, the bookstore is selling you, you know, here's virtual machines as if they were books on a rack somewhere. You know, Google's engineering based on how their investment in engineering practice and process early in their history 20 years ago was really interesting because as Bell Labs collapsed at the end of the 90s into the noughties, you know, a lot of those folks ended up working for Google. And so you see that kind of careful engineering at scale kind of thinking that went into a lot of tooling investment kind of thing that everybody must use. And they built an advertising business on a very carefully thought through software architecture. And that kind of reflects out in the way they present their cloud. But it's very much a we're the smartest guys in the room. You need to do it our way, and boy, will it ever work well for you. And Microsoft's kind of in there going, well, we understand how messy your data center is because we've been selling to you for a long time. And this is how messy our data center is, but we'll work together. And, you know, we still have that kind of particular customer focus in that direction. And then Amazon just continues to do some really amazing things as software engineers in their environment. But again, it reflects their culture. All three of us, though, got really good at pouring concrete and running air conditioning. So it's and you have to see similar things in just what telco data centers look like at this point working for Ericsson.
Yep, yep, they're much bigger.
Yeah.